one. From Boston, Massachusetts to Adelaide, Australia, and everywhere in between. Talking local and national sports and just about anything discussed in a tavern. Broadcasting from South Lyon, Michigan. Welcome to Easy Speak at Speakeasy 330 with your hosts, Rich and Tom.
We are back.
Wednesday.
No, it's Tuesday.
Oh, it is Tuesday.
Yeah, somebody's got something to do tomorrow. So
Well, I keep thinking Tuesday, or I should say I keep thinking Wednesday because normally we started kicking this back off on a Wednesday. And with us being gone over the weekend, I've kind of lost track of everything. So, yeah, that's it.
yeah, it's Tuesday.
God damn.
Yeah, it's sometimes days get caught up and you lose track. But
Yeah.
but here we are a day early and with a little bit to talk about from our interesting weekend we had.
Yeah, as of late, I mean, we've been spending quite a bit of time together in a very platonic way, but a lot of collaboration between you. I've gone into some of the things that we're working on, and it's just, I mean, between full-time jobs and kids and life, we're gonna make it happen. We do got some pretty cool, neat things that we're gonna keep touching on in the horizon.
Oh yeah.
Sorry for the people on Twitch, but somehow it just didn't hit up on the Twitch board today. But I think
So our British DJ.
the guy with the foot fetish is not going to want to know exactly what
Well,
type of socks I'm wearing.
That's too bad. He's
Yeah,
not going to know
exactly.
that I'm wearing black Puma athletic wear socks today.
I got Kirkland black ones on, so I'm good.
And for everybody that's scratching their head wondering what the fuck are these guys talking about, we had a viewer on Twitch a couple weeks ago who was from all the way over on the other side of the pond, and he wanted to know what made us decide to wear certain socks and what color they were. Probably the most oddest question I've ever been asked in my life, but
I think he was really interested in this guy.
oh, he may have been. I
think he was a big fan of the old Giant.
He wanted to know how big a shoe size were.
Yeah,
Shout out to JP.
Yeah. So, yeah. What a weekend, man. I mean, absolutely. I had a really good time. I hope you had a really good time.
Oh yeah, it's always nice to get away and see new areas and meet new people, and we certainly did.
Yeah. So,
drank a lot of beer.
Oh my God, I need a break. But and I say that as I got a spotted cow, So
cheers out to Hesterman.
Obviously, it's obviously I didn't need a break that bad, but I took a break yesterday. But yeah, so I mean, just the whole trip. It seems like from when we left in the morning on Thursday, Ohio sucked as it always does.
Mm-hmm.
It rained from Toledo to Cincinnati.
Yeah,
sucked, and that wasn't like it was like a small rain. It rained.
No, it was a downpour.
So
it reminded me of Oral Roberts for a minute.
Oh boy,
we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, but got there and then got through Kentucky and got through Tennessee, and we're making fairly good time. But you get in North Carolina, you get on 40, and it's 2 lanes each way, and it's pretty much a standstill. We got stuck in traffic for a while. I started getting pretty pissed off. The Waze app, which is normally pretty spot on almost every time I use it.
They usually steer you in the right direction.
Well, it steered us in the wrong direction because we took the detour that they suggested, and then when we got to the end of the detour, we were supposed to get on the expressway, and they had it blocked off for construction equipment. And at that point, we were about 3 hours away from our destination, and I said, well, I shouldn't say I said it. Kelly said, why don't we stop for the night? I said, you find a place that is dog friendly, because we had Clyde with us. So I'm like, if you find a place,
a doggy hotel
that we could take Clyde, we're stopping. So needless to say, we stopped, got ourselves some Yingling, got ourselves a couple we went to this one store. And it was actually pretty good, but we got ourselves some sandwiches.
They fixed you some sandwiches?
Yeah.
I don't want any fucking sandwiches. What is it with you fixing fucking sandwiches?
Exactly, sandwiches it was, and everything like that. So
I have never used the word sandwich more in the last month than I have in my life.
So Friday morning we hopped up, we got ready, we got on the road, we got down to our destination, which is my sister's house, and outside of Columbia, and it really, I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere,
Gamecock country.
Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's nice and peaceful. She's got a piece of property, and her boyfriend of number of years, Barry, super great guy, and we got there, and they both took the day off work. We got there. Clyde was chasing chickens around. They have chickens around, and that was the last time Clyde was able to chase some chickens around because we had an interesting Saturday morning.
It was a chicken massacre.
It was a chicken massacre. I woke up in the morning. I took Clyde out to use the restroom, and I look over and I see 3 pit bull dogs in the chicken coop. Needless to say, 8 of them. 8 hens and 1 rooster perished. The law enforcement was there. The animal control was there. And
where was I when all this was unfolding?
Man, this guy right here, normally he's a guy who sleeps as light as a feather. I don't know how anybody can sleep through 2 shotgun blasts than you. I don't know anybody who can except for you.
Well, needless to say, I needed to sleep, and so I missed the excitement.
Yeah, you wake up.
I came in after the fact.
Hey, you wake up and you're like, hey, how's everybody doing? Everybody's already changed in their clothes, and you come out and you're like, what's going on, guys? We're like, yeah, you missed it, man. It was a hell of a morning.
Well, I smelled bacon. I knew it was time to eat.
Yeah, bacon. Yeah, my sister was all very a gracious host and cooked us breakfast and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely an eventful Saturday. From there, we ended up going down to a place that was featured, which is in 5 Points in Columbia, a place that was featured in Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. And we went there and we had burgers. We do have video footage, but we're going to compile together into one thing. So
maybe we'll put that together.
We're going to do our review probably Sunday. We'll probably feature the review on Sunday, but no, it was very good. Drank more.
Unfortunately, it was about 5 to 10 degrees colder in South Carolina than it was up here in Michigan, which was very disappointing.
Yeah, you never really have that happen.
I think that kind of put a damper on some of our tourist destinations. We were to a couple more places, but
it was just too cold.
It was too cold, and having Mr. Clyde with us meant we had to be outside, and it didn't work out. So,
and there's nothing wrong with being outside, but it was a breath of fresh to see so much open compared to us being relatively still closed in.
Yeah, I don't think there was any kind of patience. It was
no
mask, maybe 70-30.
I was going to say 75-25 on the mask.
Although I was yelled at by a Middle Eastern gentleman at a gas station. Made sure I had my mask on. I was in the process of putting it on when I walked through the door.
Yeah.
And he made sure that I put it on, which, obviously I have no problem doing, but
yeah.
And,
normally, and it happens every time I go to visit my sister, I normally always come home with more stuff than I took down with me.
Yes.
So, being said, she was gracious enough to give us some memorabilia to hang in the speakeasy. She provided us with a Steve Yzerman captain jersey.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's going to be on the wall of jerseys as well. We got a plush foam football from the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
We got that. If you look behind us right here, we have an autographed picture of
Dabo,
my favorite college football coach, Dabo. That's going to be on the wall, and that's going to be like on the wall, real close to where where everybody can see that.
Especially one, Mr. Bill.
Yeah, Bill. You know what? We might hang it up right over top of the Notre Dame flag that we got up here.
He's all in.
He's all in.
Dabo. We got a foam finger there, or what looks like a foam finger.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we got some good.
We got a couple good things, and I mean, again, my sister is absolutely she's an absolute rock star when it comes to, making every visit as enjoyable as possible. Her friends are unbelievably awesome and fantastic, and just, I mean, some really, really down home, good people everywhere we went. We went to a couple days. It was just nothing but, and it goes. It's Southern hospitality, and that's what it was. It was pretty much an open door, arms open, come on into the house.
It's a different world.
Hey, go to my my fridge is your fridge. You take, you do whatever. Had some good barbecue. Barbecue on Sunday.
Some good pork.
Yeah. Whew. And believe me, everything that
they threw down,
everything he did there, we can do.
I think Sean and Mike and Chef Dave would probably be impressed with the spread that they had.
And I wish I would have grabbed some pictures of it, but I mean, it was just, it was very good. And it was just a great time all the way around from top to bottom. What did you think of it? I mean, really, that's probably one of the most out of the town podunk places you've been in your life.
Well, my dad's side is from the flatlands of Ohio. So there was some pretty podunk-ish areas down, but as far as down in the holler, yeah, that definitely was a culture shock for me, but the bottom line was everybody was awesome. Just like, oh, y'all got a podcast?
Oh yeah,
I want to be on your podcast.
Everybody wanted to be a part of the podcast, and before we started or whatever, I sent a text saying, here's the link. It's going to be up. Get on there, take a look, hit it, give us a like, a subscribe.
Sure.
As Pat McAfee would say, it's for the brand. That's for the brand. And our brand is iLogic Media Network. So that's our brand, and that's what we're building towards. We're building towards something of that. So
it's building, and it's getting bigger and bigger every week.
Yeah. And, another thing, it was funny because yesterday when we were driving home, we were kind of jockeying back and forth about Barry, and Barry's a good dude. I mean, I don't care if somebody came and told me he was the biggest piece of poop in the world. It doesn't matter because I know that man and he's awesome. But I tell you right now, he is probably one of the funniest dudes ever.
Hey, Bo.
English, hey, Bo. Hey, Bo.
To make a long story short.
And they were never short stories.
And when I go, I have a feeling this is probably going to be a good one.
It's like you might as well go grab another beer.
Yep.
And enjoy yourself.
And recap the ratio from the weekend. Let's see. We got there around 10:30, 11. Would you say Friday morning?
About 10:30, yeah.
I think I had my first one at 12:30. I remember that specifically because Barry looked at his watch. He goes, "Hey, it's 12:30. All right."
And I was going before he was.
He had 3 in already. So before we even went and had lunch, Rich had a 6-pack down.
Oh yeah,
and I had 2.
Oh yeah.
The 2, or I should say the 3 and 4 to 1 ratio definitely standed true. Yeah, even down in South Carolina.
Oh, so I don't.
He outdrank me, which you know what?
I don't.
Hey, it is what it is.
But hey, on the way home, we did pick up some moonshine. So we do got some old smoky moonshine.
We got some moonshine.
So
definitely.
So we stopped at this place
and more Ying
Liquor Barn. Oh boy, the Liquor Barn. Tom comes strolling through, and Tom's got himself 2 cases of Yingling Light, which is a personal favorite around the speakeasy. We're not going to lie. So he's like, you know what? We need a couple cases. We'll get a couple cases because we're waiting on our next keg for the kegerator. And he throws them up on the counter, and all I heard, and I was standing behind Tom. All I heard was, Tom's like, what?
I look at this woman, and I'm like,
what?
Huh?
Cute? Huh?
And then I look at, there's a woman next to her, and she looks at me, and she knows exactly what I'm thinking. And she says, "Are those yours?" And she's pointing to the cases on the counter. And I said, Oh,
yeah, they're mine.
Never would have guessed in a million years that
never.
that's what was coming out of her mouth.
Nope.
But yeah, needless to say, I needed a translator.
Yeah, it was.
We were in. Well, were we still in Tennessee?
Yeah, we were in Tennessee
or Northern Kentucky.
Nope, Tennessee, just north of Knoxville.
Oh man, I'm telling
you. It was.
So when you envision the liquor barn,
it was definitely Podunk.
It was really. No, I think it was Kentucky because it was by the.
I'm telling you right now, it's not.
It was by the giant cross by the Gentleman Club.
That's in Knoxville. That's north of Knoxville.
No, I thought it was Northern Tennessee. No. Oh well.
You got your Gentleman's Club reversed a little bit.
No, but then again, what's the difference between Northern Kentucky and Southern Tennessee? Not a whole lot.
Not much.
Not a whole lot.
So I mean, us being in the car all day on Thursday, it kind of limited our action to watch some college basketball. But man, what a hell of a weekend!
I can't recall ever in my days of watching the tournament, I have never seen a tournament to where every single bracket and every single website, ESPN, CBS Sports, Yahoo, all of them busted
second day.
I've never seen that. There's usually an upset or two. You can pretty much guarantee every year, but this was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, and it started Friday with the Fighting Andrew Latins of Ohio State going down to the oral, and so somebody posted on the tweet machine who had Oral Roberts beating Ohio State, and my comment was some girl who dated a guy named Robert that gave good oral.
Could have been.
Ain't no freaking way in hell anybody took the. I don't even know what the hell their moniker is. Are they the Ramblers or who knows? Who knows? Needless to say,
all I know is they beat the Suckeyes.
They beat Ohio State, and I know there's a couple of our listeners that were none too pleased about that for sure.
Yeah, and Drew had chimed in. He's already pulling for the Noles to take that one over.
I got the Senate going up against the Wolverines here. Ooh.
Damn, on the wall.
Oh boy.
Oh well.
Of course it happens now. But
yeah, big deal.
So, but yeah, I mean, so you review it here. 10 Big Ten teams entered the tournament. 1 survived.
Yeah.
And
you know what? And I'll be honest with you, Michigan. I mean, it was dicey at periods of time in the game yesterday. Very dicey. It just seemed like, and everybody always says, a team, you want them to go hot into the tournament. Well, Michigan was hot all year long
until they hit.
And then when they came back and they played the one game after their COVID time off, they played one game, and then they lost.
Well, they won 3 out of COVID, and then played. They played Ohio. No, they beat Ohio State. Who'd they lose to? Oh, they lost to Michigan State.
Yeah,
and then they lost to Illinois. So they kind of hobbled into the tournament.
Yeah,
but so it was really interesting to see how they were going to adjust, especially knowing that Livers, at least the first couple of rounds was not going to be there. But they played North Texas the first round, which they pretty much handled that one. But then last night they played LSU, and LSU gave them everything they could handle. Early on, they were just hitting everything, and again, Michigan starts off slow.
They always do,
and they get behind early, and they go into the halftime up by 1, and they come out the second half slow.
Start slow,
and till about the 10-minute mark, it just they were out of whack. It seemed, what I was able to see, and Tyrion Lannister, aka Mike Smith, I don't know. Is it his
That's
inexperience in the postseason? But I just he led them in scoring in the first game. He made a lot of bonehead plays.
Yeah.
A lot of bonehead shots. He jacking up threes, airballing it. Michigan needs him to distribute. Be the floor general. There's too many scores on the floor for him to worry about getting those unnecessary shots. And so you take the bench in the game last night. Shawnee Brown, 21 points off the bench.
You'll never see him in points. Brian,
scored 0 points in the first game. He's very streaky. And Eli Brooks he's been their X factor. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago on the broadcast that if they're going to go far, it's going to be Eli Brooks leading the way. He's the guy that he can score in many different ways. He can drive to the hoop. He can put up a three, and he plays great defense. So those guys came through.
And the thing, during our course of watching the game yesterday and listening to it on the way back, you were like screaming in the car, why aren't they giving it to Hunter? Why aren't they giving Hunter? Dude, he had a double last night. It's not terrible, but I guess we're so used to the season where they're feeding the ball and he's scoring points to where now.
Well, I just think his size, 7'2", there aren't many centers out there that can cover him, and there was a lot of times where he was empty under the net, under the basket, and they settled for a lower percentage shots, and they were missing, but they hit that 10-minute mark and I think they hit about 2 or 3 threes in a row that put them over, and then they just excelled from there. And obviously everyone knows the end, but JDC's chimed in and he says that he hears Livers might play. My theory has been they get to the second weekend that he's going to play because
he's been with the team. He's been bubbled. So and that was at length discussion that you and I had. And I think we're both in agreement for sure that if he wasn't going to play, he wouldn't be there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sacrifice for these kids to be pretty much cooped up in their hotel room,
getting shitty food,
terrible food, and expecting them to stay put basically.
And since we're talking about stuff that was shitty, I'm all for equality when it comes to sports. Whether you're a male or female, you should be both given the same opportunity. And that fucking weight room that they gave the girls basketball team, I'm going to say right now, I have 3 kettlebells in my house, and that's the equivalent to what they gave. That's just bullshit.
The NCAA should be ashamed of themselves. And I mean, they of themselves on many different levels, but specifically this level in this day and age to where, equality is, I mean, they wear it on their jerseys, and it just doesn't mean race relations. It's got to mean men and women and men.
It's everything.
And when you take a snapshot of the men's workout facilities that they placed in these conference centers and these hotel rooms, I mean, you're talking at a 5-star equipment, top of the line, lots of room, lots of machines. And then you flip over to the female side. Looked like they gave them a corner in the back kitchen, which was a stack of dumbbells, and a mat. I mean, it's disgusting, and shame on the NCAA. And one of the things about social media that actually is a good thing is it went viral, and it went viral quick. And there was businesses like the Tonal that have that digital weight, like the mirror type thing. They ended up donating 10 virtual gyms to the women's programs so they'd have access. And then lo and behold, boom, the NCAA comes up with these fantastic men-like facilities in the hotel. And it should never get to that point.
It's shitty.
It should never get to somebody almost calling out the NCAA, and
that's really what it was.
Yeah, and the NBA players and both NBA and WNBA and other sports chimed in, and as they should have, and they got the job done. But yeah, I mean, the NCAA they always talk about diversity training and things that they're the ones that need the most diversity. They failed, they fumbled, and good for people looking out for them.
All right, so now that we got that off our chest, because that was a big issue. That another one. We spent. 12
I'm glad
hours.
you brought that up.
We spent 12 hours in the car.
Yeah.
That things that we talked about, and we kind of.
I didn't put it on the notes,
and
it was. I'm glad you brought it up.
And here's my thing: is do you think after Michigan State's exit in the play-in game, do you think Izzo has lost his luster, magic when it comes to? I mean, granted, he has always, and here's the thing: it was funny because everybody goes, "Oh, it's January,
February.
or it's January, February,
Izzo.
Realistically, it's not. And he's a good coach. Okay, well, we're going to give him that.
Yeah,
he's a good coach. Is he a great coach? No. If you and that was the big topic of debate between you and I. I don't even say it was a debate. I think we both came to the same conclusion that it's like he won one national championship, but he's always competed.
Mm-hmm.
Always compete. You know what? You can make it there, but you don't get there. That doesn't make you a great coach. It makes you a good coach.
Sure. It's
not going to make you a great coach. You've won one national championship.
Big Ten only has one since 2000.
You've won one national championship.
Yeah, and that was the year Matt Ishbia was on the team.
That's two.
I didn't say.
No, it doesn't.
No, that doesn't count.
Yeah, it does. It does
count.
Get your $40 out. Get your $40 out.
Who might be a little hot still.
It's
the fighting Rocket Mortgagers.
Yeah, no, you go ahead and
the Michigan State fighting Rocket Mortgagers.
He's fighting it. He's fighting it.
Yeah, he's fighting it. But no, do I think he's a bad coach? No. Do I think he's a good coach? Sure. Do I think he might be a little out of touch with today's generation? I think he is.
Yeah.
And it showed this season. I was just waiting for him to have a coordinator on the court.
Yeah.
His anger level was more than I've ever seen it.
Would we say it's anger or do we say it's passion?
Maybe a little of both. Which could come into the fact that his players aren't responding to him.
No.
And clearly Gabe Brown walking off the court in the first half against UCLA there on Thursday, when Izzo, which in my book was a bit too aggressive, when there's eyes watching, there's cameras everywhere. He grabbed him up, and I'm surprised you haven't heard any more of that. The only way I can say is it's Tom Izzo. That's probably why you haven't heard anything, but he snatched him up, and Gabe Brown was like, "Get your fucking hands off me."
Yeah.
And do I agree with Gabe Brown on that one? I don't know. I think it all could have been handled differently, but I think that one flash was the season in a nutshell. Like, you're not listening. Get over here, and they get nope. I ain't listening to you.
Yeah, I think he might have lost the locker room. I think he lost the locker room.
And you know what? They had a lead in the first half, and they came out in the second half flat as a pancake.
So let's go on to some other upsets. Ohio State losing to Oral Roberts, we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited about them losing just because it's the Suckeyes. And then Oral Roberts went on to beat Florida.
Yeah, Florida. So they're still dancing.
They're in the Sweet 16.
They got their Cinderella.
Oregon State took out Tennessee. North Texas takes out Purdue. Ohio over Virginia.
Yeah, the defending tournament champions.
Yeah,
one and done.
Yep,
one and done. Abilene Christian over Texas.
Yep,
which was a of short shorts, and the Christians ended up winning that one.
The battle of short shorts.
But they were able to come through and win in the second round. But beating Texas, which I might add, Texas goes out and gets Shaka Smart from Virginia Commonwealth. And one thing with Shaka Smart, he always had a shaved head. He goes to Texas, he grows his hair. Hasn't done a damn thing.
Yeah.
So I'm blaming Shaka Smart's hair for their lackluster performance in the last couple of years that he's been there.
USC over Kansas.
Kansas, their worst loss in like 20 years in the tournament. But then again, that's Bill Self, who, he's had a Hall of Fame career, but he's also lost some really bad games in the tournament early on. So I think that'll always be on his track record for somebody that just, he won, but he lost a lot too.
Yeah, he did. And
he
then
lost a lot too.
And then the one that brings me the most joy, and I'm sure it brings you just the most amount of joy, is Loyola Chicago whipping that ass.
Oh,
Illinois.
Man. The Fighting Sister Jeans come through, and thanks to Farva.
Yeah, Farva.
Fucking leader of Cola destroying Cockburn under.
Oh, yeah.
The Cola beats the cock in this situation. Man, did those fight. But to take a step back, number one defense in the country.
Correct.
So 8th seed. So I think their seeding was fitting. And, I don't think it's as big of an upset as Oral Roberts beating Ohio State, but it's pretty awesome. And for them to do what they did a couple years ago to do it again, Sister Jean's there, 100 years old. I saw a thing on Twitter that said they believe Sister Jean's alive. They think it's like a Weekend at Bernie's type of thing. They're just wheeling her out.
Yeah.
So, but that's awesome. And that's what madness is all about.
Yep.
You
never know.
Any day anybody could. And this year was definitely the case. But we have a really good picture of Farva. And if anybody doesn't know who we're talking about, Farva, check out Super Troopers. It's a movie. So the starting center, who is Cameron Krutwig, is Farva's dad. So
100%.
But he definitely looks like he should be playing left tackle. Not center on the basketball court, but he had Cockburn could not
he couldn't do
answer. He was hitting everything, and man, they were pumped up. I think Chicago and in Illinois, so there was some in-state bragging rights, and us fans of the who definitely were enjoying what we were seeing.
Yeah, and the reason why I think I think the reason why we got so much joy out of it is because Michigan won the Big Ten
regular season,
which that's it. I mean that's you get a banner for it. You get Big Ten champions. You don't
they'll get a tournament banner.
They'll get a tournament banner.
But for them to come out and say that they were the regular season champions because they played more games.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Well, who's going to the third round?
Yeah.
Exactly. In the one tournament that matters.
Yeah. Exactly. You're not. If you want to go to the NIT, right?
So Team Thug, Illinois, going home.
Yeah.
So they're going home. So we've got the Sweet 16 set.
So we got Florida State, Michigan, and number 1 and number 4 Sunday at 5. We got Gonzaga and Creighton.
Which Creighton is
they're good.
They're the team you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
They can shoot, they can defend. They're going to give Gonzaga a battle, even though Gonzaga's giving 13.5. I'd be interesting to see that number drop.
We got UCLA. That'll be a good one. USC, Oregon. That should be Pac-12. Look there. Then we got 8 in Loyola, which I'm going to take Loyola on that one. You might as well just ride the hot hand, right?
Yeah, I mean, if there was a team to get the draw, they were pretty lucky to get Oregon State.
Yeah.
Even though they came in hot. So
you got Baylor, Villanova.
That's going to be a
game. And then we got Arkansas, Roberts, and then we got Houston and Syracuse playing. So we got definitely a hell of a weekend at
these games are pretty evenly matched, and if it's anything like we saw last weekend, get ready.
Oh, yeah. I agree
as
with
Terrell Owens would say, popcorn ready, because it's going to be fun.
Exactly. It is definitely going to be fun.
And on top of the NCAA action, we're going to have UFC 261, I believe. I think it's 261.
Okay.
So lots of awesome sports.
I just show up, everybody. I show up.
Yeah. Which
I pay my dues.
Anybody out there watching, listening, Speakeasy's open for business Saturday night for the big UFC. So come on out.
And then, let's move on to the Detroit Lions for a little bit. Jared Goff had his presser, and everybody is everybody's on the fence, I guess, if you want to say, on whether or not he's the future or if he's just a stopgap till they get the next one. I personally enjoyed his presser. I think he answered everything honestly and truthfully about how he feels. He doesn't feel that the moves that are being made by Brad Holmes and MCDC are a rebuild. It's more of just kind of a retooling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, and I'm with it on that one, and it was nice because there was an interview with, I'm trying to think, I think it was like Carson Anderson or something like that. They had Goff on there, and he was talking about the Brockers comment that he made when Stafford got traded, saying they leveled up and stuff like that. And they've since kissed and made up on that one for sure.
Yeah, Brockers was being interviewed by TMZ and asked about it, and he said they've leveled up. But I really like the fact that he immediately to Goff to say, "Hey, man, I don't mean any ill will." There
was no disrespect. I wasn't planning on getting booted from. It was more of trying to pump up the fan base,
and to a man that, in knowing that you're going to have to face this guy, and I think that was a classy move.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That he was able to do, and Michael Brockers is going to be a huge piece of this puzzle. And no, he's not lining up against next to Aaron Donald, but with some guys that they have there, I mean, he could be a number one.
That's a different. He could be a difference maker.
Sure,
and that's why 7th round pick. So I'm kind of
in 2 years.
I mean, but realistically, when
they got him for free,
they got him for free. And realistically, I don't see how that could go wrong. I mean, in the issue with the Lions right now, they need on that defensive side of the ball, they need depth.
Yep.
And so they need a linebacking core. They need more depth on the defensive.
Yeah.
Keep guys fresh and healthy, rotate them in and out. That's what they need. I'm cautiously optimistic about it
too. I am too, for the simple fact they're making all the right moves.
I am too.
It's almost like they've gone back and listened to the last 10, 15 years of Detroit sports radio. What do the Lions need? And it seems like they're pushing all the right buttons right now, and from top to bottom. And I got to tell you, I watched the Jamal Williams presser today. He's going to be fun to watch. That kid who we're getting from Green Bay, he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder too, just like Goff. And I think our backfield is shaping up to be top 10 maybe in the NFL.
Yeah.
As long as there can be some holes that they develop from the offensive line. But Jamal Williams and Swift in a Anthony Lynn run offense, they're going to be catching the ball in the backfield.
Yes.
And when you have TJ Hippie Hawkins' son right there, that's a difference maker. I like you. I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid right now, but I mean, 8-8 is realistic. And
in the first season, I'd be happy with an 8-8 in the first season.
Oh, this town would go crazy if they went 8-8.
Just as long as they keep making the moves to get better.
Sure.
Definitely. I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the guys who decided not to pick up they didn't franchise tag him, whatever, but they offered him quite a bit amount of money to stay here. And he said pretty much, I think I want a fresh start. And, Kenny Galladay, he got, I want to say it was like $76 million, but only 40 is guaranteed over a 4-year deal. You know what? My personal opinion, I got nothing against the guy. I hope that he lives up to that contract. I hope he goes and gets his money. I hopefully he stays healthy. He catches 80 balls a year. I mean, I really hope that that's what happens. I hope he catches 80 balls, gets over 1,000, catches about 10 touchdowns a year, stays healthy. And a lot of people are going on and saying that, is this is he going to be the guy who's going to make or break quarterback situation in New York? If you're depending on Kenny Galladay, and it's saying, well, could this be the the make or break season for him for Danny Dimes?
Well, to me, it's not Kenny Galladay.
No,
it's Saquon Barkley.
Yep, he's got to stay on.
2 years, 2 season-ending injuries. He has to stay healthy. But on paper, you have Slayton, you have Shepard, now you have Galladay as your receiver core.
Yep.
Ingram at tight end.
Yep.
If Barkley stays healthy, that gives Danny Dimes that more for them to succeed. They've made some moves on defense. So New York spent a lot of money in this offseason, and they spent a lot of money on Galladay, hoping that he's going to be the difference maker.
Well, they spent a lot of money on the offense because, let's face it. It's going to be it will be a make or break season for
their defense. Was pretty good last year, and they've made some additions this year
exactly
that are going to keep them moving forward. So again, the thing. If Barkley's gone, they're not going anywhere. So it's a lot like Detroit. I think New York is a lot like Detroit in the sense where, they on paper they look pretty good. We'll see what happens, and he's got 4 years, to see if he's worth it. But 40 out of the 72 guaranteed. That number is interesting because usually the guaranteed number is pretty close to the overall.
That's what though, I bet you that is a way for them to keep, because it's all incentive based. So they structured it that way because it probably gives them a little more flexibility
to move in on other players.
Yeah. So I wish the guy the best.
I'm glad he's not in our division.
No. Well, he was in Chicago.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they signed him and had Allen Robinson at the same time?
Allen Robinson.
I keep saying
he got the red rocket throwing. Yeah. Oh boy, the Lions would really make him look good.
Yeah, no shit. And so with that, we move on to Deshaun Watson. So months ago, he pretty much comes out and says, "I'm not playing for you. Trade me. I'm not playing for you."
And I don't disagree with. No, his reasoning
with his reasoning behind that is whatever, but now it has come out. I think it's up to 16 now. I think it's up to 16 women have made allegations against him for inappropriate sexual conduct. And here's the thing: is he's fighting it. They wanted a 6-figure settlement, out of the whole deal, whatever, for it to go away. He says, "No, I didn't do anything. I want to clear my name." Here's my thing. If he did it, hang him.
Oh, absolutely.
Fucking burn him.
Yep.
If he didn't do it, find out why this came. And it came out in, if I'm not mistaken, that, everybody I've heard said that, the attorney that is representing these women happens to be a neighbor or a friend of the owner or the general manager. Something like that. Whether it's true, yes or no, I don't know. I can't speak on that behalf because I don't live in Texas and I don't really follow the Texans that bad. But how ironic that you have all this come out, a settlement. They try to get a settlement out of them, and then you have all this going on, and like I said,
in the midst of a locker room, controversy. New coach, new GM. He clearly doesn't want to play there. So I guess the one thing we talked about was, did the Texans maybe start the rumor mill? Did they push this into a direction to make it where beneficial for them?
Like the only team that the early day, because they came out and said they're not going to get rid of him. They're not going to trade him. George chimed in and said his career. And you know what? And I tell you right now, it pretty much is.
Because
I shouldn't say that. His career is not over.
It's on pause right now.
It's on pause because he already said, I am not playing for the Texans. So the Texans he's not going to play for the Texans, but they made it seem like now with everything, the pending, and it's a civil suit. It's not criminal. It's a civil. So he has never been charged. He's never been like that. It's all alleged, and it's in a civil suit.
Here's my problem.
Thanks, George.
And if it turned out, and I agree, obviously, if he's a serial predator as he's being labeled to be by the latest alleged victim, then yeah, he needs to go. He needs to be locked up and be put away.
Yeah.
But my biggest problem with this is if there's 14, if there's 16, and this is happening, why weren't they speaking up before? Why does it take something like this for them to say, oh yeah, this happened to me? And here's my other problem. Their stories are all the same.
Yeah.
I mean, even down to the verbiage. So do I think they're lying and trying to get a money grab? I don't know. It seems a bit fishy to me on the outside looking in. I don't like the fact that it took one to get the ball rolling. If that is the case, I really wish that if he was up to no good and doing some of the things that he's been accused of, you need to speak up.
Yeah.
If he's doing some of the things that they're saying, then it has to be told. And for other women out there, if there's something going on like that, you got to speak up. You can't wait till more than one. I know strength in numbers, but my goodness, if that turns out to be the case, that it's just a group of women that are trying to get a money grab, then they need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
So this is a story that's not going to go away anytime soon. I don't believe whether Deshaun Watson wants to or not. I don't think he's playing in this season because he's going to be caught up in legal issues that it's going to go for a while unless the courts move through and they have evidence. And that's the thing. Is there video evidence? Is there? And one of them said that he said, don't talk about this, that she was going to sign an NDA, but then reached out to him recently on Instagram saying, acting like nothing ever happened. That kind of led me to think that I don't know about that. Yeah. That seems a little weird to me, but who knows?
And the thing with that is I hope that if it's true, the appropriate measures are taken, meaning that there is an investigation behind it.
Did you read George's comments?
I did,
George.
George. I agree that something needs to be done. That they need to be held accountable. And I think there should be my personal opinion. If it is what it is, and if it's within so many years, statute of limitations, and it needs to be a criminal case. And needs to be investigated by a
some
DA.
of them were as like last month.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that needs to be turned over. That needs to be turned over. That needs to be investigated. They need to go through the proper channels instead of somebody trying to, like you said, kind of like a money. You know what? I'll tell you right now, if he did it, hang him.
Yeah.
I am a guy.
I might use a different word
or
a phrase.
I'm not going to say hang him. but you know what, though?
He's got to go.
Punish him to the fullest extent of the law.
Anybody. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
If you do what he's alleged to have done, I'm sorry. There's a special place in hell for you. And hopefully you'll get there. So
George typed in, he said, in all seriousness, think of someone who was suspended a year and comes back to play in the NFL. Doesn't happen.
No. Look at Ray Rice.
Yeah.
Ray Rice.
The only guy I can see that from was Michael Vick. Vick came back.
Well, Kareem Hunt came back.
Kareem Hunt did too.
But Ray Rice was a Pro Bowl running back. He was one of the face of the Baltimore Ravens, and he cold cocked his wife, which I don't condone that. But there's two sides to every story.
Well, there's three sides. There, her story,
side, his side, and the truth. But she was giving him the business. She was beating up on him. And when you throw alcohol in the mix, and as a professional athlete, you have to be aware of your surroundings.
You have to learn
24/7.
You have to learn to restrain yourself.
Absolutely. And if you have an issue with alcohol and you might go off on a woman,
Yeah.
Don't drink.
So, George chimed in and stuff like that. George just sent me a text earlier today that his parents were diagnosed with COVID.
Oh,
they are they're up north, isolating in their place up north and stuff like that. So prayers to the Jackson family on a full recovery, and hopefully everything is going to be good and copacetic with them.
Absolutely.
And George, speaking on behalf of George or whatever, we get to do another off center podcast with them on Thursday night, which I'm really looking forward to. Some ideas bouncing around between Pat, George, and myself, and I'm really excited to help launch that podcast out and make it the best it can. And
last check, the first episode had like over 400 views, and
yeah,
it's awesome. Those guys know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about, and we ducked a few places looking for cards while we were down there, and
couldn't find a goddamn.
There was nothing. There was nothing.
A damn card.
So clearly the sports card thing is real. And if you or anyone that is into sports cards,
check them out.
Yeah, Thursday at, what was it? Did he say it was going to be?
It might be, I don't know, 8:30.
Yeah, so definitely check it out.
But check them out. You can check out. You can subscribe to their Facebook page, the OC Off Center Sports page. So anyway, moving on. So the new rules for the NHL draft lottery, and I love it. I love it because our beloved Red Wings have been absolutely boned by this.
Yep.
And now I believe me, I was on Twitter today. Once everything came out and said, oh, this, that, because the Rangers got 2 high picks 2 years in a row, blah, 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 blah.
Well, the Rangers were in the playoff bubble. They should have never. The NHL dropped the ball or the puck in this situation.
No.
How do you give a team that is in the mix an opportunity?
2 teams.
Yeah, to get the number 1 pick, who just so happened to be Lafreniere, who is going to be a generational type player.
And then
it stood.
Well, then Quentin Byfield too. He was
sure.
number 2 pick overall.
And you give him the opportunity to draft him, and they get the first pick.
Tim Stützle, he was the 3rd pick, and he's playing right now. We got Lucas Raymond, who's playing over in Sweden, got injured. Now he's going to have surgery.
Yep.
I'm really baffled by those, but I'm kind of excited to see how those rules are going to how they're going to really help and hopefully bring some parity to the lottery process.
And this goes to, even with the NBA. It is asinine to think that you could be the worst team in the NBA and you might have the pick.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of losing is having an opportunity to draft the best player available. The lottery system.
The Sixers did it.
The lottery system is bullshit. I don't care. You can't tell me otherwise.
You're not going to get a disagreement.
No, because it's just it's ass backwards to think that you have a team with no talent, or you just have a whole lot of money and you're going to get screwed. And the Wings got screwed. So did the Senators, even though the Senators had 2 top 10 picks. But this is going to allow the lowest pick they won't be able to draft any lower than 3rd, which to me, I still think that's stupid. But I don't know.
If you think about like at previous drafts or whatever, look how many years the Edmonton Oilers drafted in the top 3, and look
where they're at now.
Exactly.
I mean,
you look at Sabres. The Sabres had high picks too.
Yeah,
so but they even though they had high pick, they're an absolute disaster organization
right now. They are. Yeah. They got all the talent in the world, and they just don't know what to do with it. Edmonton was like that too for a couple of years, and even now they're. They might score 6 goals.
No, don't talk about that.
They're going to give up 7. So they're in the mix. They're in the playoffs. But
George says my guess is ESPN had a lot to play in that rule change. Well,
it might be.
God, I hope so.
Yep.
God bless you, ESPN.
There's a petition going out right now to have Gary Thorne.
As it should be.
And I think ESPN has listened to the fans. They have already confirmed that the hockey music is coming back. That's a done deal. And so I do believe that Gary Thorne will be back. He, to me, the golden era of hockey, as you guys like to say, the 90s. He was the voice of it.
Oh yeah.
When you heard him call a game, it
Yep.
I mean, there's not too many play-by-play announcers that you got this is a game.
Yep.
And it's an event.
I agree.
To hear his voice,
those legendary calls.
Yeah, it's just I do believe ESPN, who is infamous doing the right thing, they're going to do the right thing in this regard because the people want it, and it's going to drive up ratings. So I do think they're going to move forward with that. Hopefully, we'll hear about that soon.
Yeah, and then
a little bit non-sport related.
Yeah, not sport related. So actually, I went today and logged in and tried to. Well, I did. I registered to get my COVID vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, I'll get a text message here.
We got registered yesterday.
In the next couple of days, I'll get a link saying I can sign up for a particular day and go and take care.
But if there's anybody out there that are thinking, I'm not going to get the vaccine. I'm not, you know what? I might drink a case of beer a day. I might smoke 2 to 3 packs of cigarettes a day. But God darn it, nope, you ain't putting that needle in my arm. You ain't going to put those microchips in my arm.
Yeah, I like that. It's a microchip.
Here's something that might change your mind.
Hey, listen, if you're a smoker,
mm-hmm.
if you eat unhealthy,
mm-hmm.
you drink a case of beer a day,
mm-hmm.
well, fuck, you might as well get some Krispy Kremes out of it too, right?
Fuck yeah, right. Amen, brother.
you might as well.
Brother.
You might as well. So, it was funny. So, Krispy Kreme came out and said, hey, listen, we will give you a free donut every day for the rest of your life if you've been vaccinated. Dude, let me tell you something. The thought of eating a Krispy Kreme donut at any point in my life makes my
How often are they going to go through red bulbs on that sign?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, if realistically people say, well, you know what, screw that, I can go drive down. I could go drive down Southfield Road in Allen Park, Michigan, and see the red light on. I'll just pull in and get a donut for free.
Just make sure you're not going over the speed limit because those son of bitches will get you.
Oh yeah, George, do the COVID vaccine on the podcast. I'll administer it. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you right now. If I do it and you do it, I'll let you do it. Fair enough.
I'm not sure if the Michigan Department of Health would be okay with that.
I know George would probably sanitize the needles with Fireball.
Whoa.
And
there's no question
everything will be okay.
George is
I mean,
he's one that is comfortable with the Fireball,
except for
to a certain point.
There was an executive order that was placed on his auctions that it had to be 100 or more for the Fireball shot. So that was his way of protecting his liver's interests.
His liver, I think the liver, his liver decided that for him.
So I mean, realistically, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna get it because I want to get it. A donut's not going to entice me to go get the vaccine.
Being able to get on an airplane or go into sporting events, which I think it's going to come down to, are you vaccinated or you're not?
And it might come down to that. We don't know.
I'm not taking my chances because you best believe I'm getting on an airplane at some point.
No, for sure.
I mean, we did fly last year, but if it means travel, then I'm going to get it. I just kind of responsible and being able to, even though we're not supposed to be gathering without a mask on, we do, but now you can kind of feel somewhat comfortable doing so.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Well, hey, we'll be back on Sunday with another episode of some sports and other associated things. Hopefully we can get that video put together for
we're going to recap what happened Saturday in the tournament. We'll talk UFC recap, the big pay-per-view, Miocic fight. So there'll be lots to talk about. And tentatively speaking, the Giant is supposed to be joining us. So,
okay.
And then Mr. Latin said he wants to sit on in. So
is he actually going to sit in, or is he going to sit off in the corner?
Yeah, he was texting with me saying that he was looking forward to being on the show this weekend. So
cool.
We should have an action-packed episode coming Sunday. Look for it. But until then, You guys have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you Sunday. We are out.
Yeah, have a good one, guys. Everybody be well and take care.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to